White Dwarf, Issue 503. Index, Leagues of Votann. Hailing from the galactic core, the species known as the Kin are hardy, resourceful, and technologically adept. Collectively, they live, toil, trade, fight, and conquer as the Leagues of Votann. For thousands of years, the people collectively known as the Leagues of Votann have dwelt in the galactic core and harvested the riches of that tumultuous region of space. Over the millennia, they have fought, traded, and served as mercenaries alongside many of the galaxy's species. Yet, with the opening of the Great Rift, they face many new challenges and conflicts that threaten to destroy all that they have striven so hard to forge. Squat, powerfully built, and incredibly hardy of mind, body, and soul, the Kin are uniquely adapted to life within the galactic core. They are a clone species birthed from machines known as crucibles that draw upon colossal repositories of genomic information to craft a stable, healthy, and varied populace. Their numbers are enhanced further by the Iron Kin, machine intelligences with mechanical bodies utterly dedicated to aiding their living fellows. So valued are the Iron Kin that they are afforded equal status within Kin society, both in terms of peace and war. The earliest origins of the Kin lie aboard void-faring mining vessels. The generations their ancestors spent traveling the terrors of deep space have instilled within them an unwavering pragmatism and a sense of personal responsibility. After all, in the depths of the void, the slightest lapse in concentration or abdication of duty may result in irreversible disaster. Waste, laziness, and even simple errors are considered the worst sins. Thus, Kin society has formed a rigid survivalist culture, one bent towards resolute toil and the acquisition of resources. Their attitude has led other species to view the Kin as driven by greed alone. The Kindreds. All Kin belong to a kindred, except for a few outcast exiles and oddities. These conglomerates are between families and nations, ranging in size from a few hundred kin to millions. The members of each kindred emerged from its crucibles and thus share a genetic bond. To their kindred, each kin owes their first and greatest allegiance. When not traveling the galaxy as traders and prospectors or making war, most kin live, train, and work within their kindred's core territory, referred to as their hold. The word hold, as with many kin terms, can be used to convey a multitude of meanings. Thus, when used in the context of a kindred's territory, it can refer to a range of structures. Some holds are fortress cities carved from soaring mountain ranges or fusions of industrial complexes, strip mines, and settlements that honeycomb an entire world's surface. Others may be deep space void stations, bristling with weapon batteries, chains of biodomes clinging to the surface of asteroids, behemoths processing vessels, and their accompanying fleets. Or even stranger and more wondrous marvels of technological artifice. Each kindred is governed from a large spherical chamber constructed according to tradition and known as the Speakrond. Here gathers the Hearthspake, a ruling council of guild masters, senior officers of the military kinhost, and the wise and cunning Grimnir. Despite the familial bonds they share, the members of the Hearthspake are given to vociferous debate. Kin are notoriously slow to change their minds. When one has established a position and believes firmly that their chosen course of action is best for the kindred, they can be remarkably obstinate in the face of opposition. However, whilst disagreements and debate are common and loud, few kin are self-serving by nature, having the interests of their kindred at heart at all times. The politicking common to the political arenas of other species is largely absent from the Speakrond. The Guilds. Guilds run through all strata of kin society. They are uniting bodies composed of all those who perform a particular role or service within a region of space. Every guild is ruled over by its guild masters, who set the standards for accreditation, expected levels of quality, and the tithes their members must pay. In theory, guilds exist apart from kindred affiliations. They are how fair competition is maintained across kin space, without overriding loyalties to kindred interfering. Some smaller guilds, however, only extend to a single hold or kindred. Not all kin seek guild membership, though guild members look scornfully upon freelancers. In turn, the unaffiliated despair at the hidebound mentality of guild members. In the case of larger guilds that span multiple kindreds, it is common for enterprising kin to establish rival guilds. Healthy competition between rival guilds can, on some occasions, become heated. The most extreme disagreements have even been known to result in armed conflict. Despite their fractious nature, guilds remain an essential component of kin society, for they smooth trade and transit between kindreds and provide a network of support for the various industries vital to continued survival and prosperity. The Leagues. Whilst a single kindred may possess impressive industrial and military might, even the largest pales compared to the smallest of leagues. Nearly all kindreds belong to a league, bearing its colours and emblems with pride and offering trade, military assistance, and other support. The largest and most potent of the leagues have existed for millennia, expanding their territories to incorporate large swathes of the galactic core. The most well-known and respected leagues include the huge and wealthy Great Arthurian League, the warlike Kronos Hegemony, and the stoic Urani Surta Regulus. Others, such as the once powerful Capellan League, have declined in prominence as generations have passed. Yet more continue to be founded by like-minded kindreds, with the Kronos Hegemony and the Serentok Mercantile Leagues being two examples of those recently established. At the heart of each league lies the artificial intelligence for which they are named, the Votan cores. Each league possesses at least one of these venerable thinking machines. Created in an age of myth, the Votan were sent into the void alongside the kin to provide them with the knowledge and wisdom they would require to survive their journeys across the galactic void. The nodes through which the wisdom of the Votan was initially distributed to the kin have now become the fanes that lie at the heart of all kindred holds. The passage of untold millennia has wrought many bizarre changes within the Votan. Their machine intelligences have been corrupted by the accumulation of data, exposure to strange phenomena and other factors, rendering them ponderous to the point of senility. And yet, they remain essential to the functioning of kin society. All-knowing repositories of lore and still living connections to the ancestors of the distant past. The few kin who can communicate with the Votan are known as the Grimnir, or living ancestors, and are respected by all and sundry. Prominent leagues. The kin do not possess single centralized bodies. Therefore, no one knows precisely how many leagues exist. There are some, however, whose names are well known throughout kin space, and whose representatives have journeyed most widely beyond the core. The Great Arthurian League. The Great Arthurian League claims to be the most extensive extant league. It has accumulated great wealth and power, consisting of over 200 allied kindreds, huge flotillas of void ships, and innumerable ranks of kin-host warriors. Some of the most storied Carls, including Uthar the Destined, victor of the Dreadstar campaign, and slayer of Gorbrak the Iron Beast, lead Great Arthurian League oathbands to war. This league's traders and envoys have travelled widely throughout far space, trading with alien species, and serving as mercenaries for the Imperium of Man. Of late, however, the Orgavir warp storm, which has erupted into being on the northeastern border of Great Arthurian territory, has forced the League into a more aggressive stance. While some of their oathbands hold back chaos incursions into their League's heartlands, others set out to conquer Imperial-held systems beyond the galactic core, as fallback positions should the worst occur. The Trans-Hyperion Alliance. Superior voidfarers, even by the lofty standards of the kin, the Trans-Hyperion Alliance have explored more of the galaxy than any other league. Their Hernkin are renowned for their tenacity and ceaseless desire to explore the farthest reaches of the void, and are held in high regard. Many of the Alliance's people sometimes serve with these ranger bands due to their wanderlust. The territories of the Trans-Hyperion Alliance are numerous, but thinly spread. Indeed, many of their holds exist far beyond the galactic core, enabling them to exploit resources many of their counterparts lack. However, the primary objective of this league's kin is to enrich their Votan with knowledge. Ancestor worship is prevalent amongst the Alliance, and its fanes are almost always filled with offerings to the departed. The Cronus Hegemony. Militaristic by nature, the kin of the Cronus Hegemony are renowned for solving many problems with the blade of an axe. The Hegemony is a military superstate, whose kindreds are some of the largest and most aggressive known amongst the Leagues of Votann. Relatively young compared to many of its peers, the Cronus Hegemony was founded less than a millennia ago, when the fane of Corin's kindred achieved self-awareness. This newly ascended Votan displayed an aggressive hunger for knowledge and raw materials, inspiring its kindreds to resort to warfare with greater regularity than many of their contemporaries. The Ymir Conglomerate. The Ymir Conglomerate exemplified the masterful artifice of the kin. Experts in every form of manufacturing, their brochure ensure that the conglomerate's holds and fleets are replete with marvels of technology, and that their weapons of war are supremely lethal. Only kindreds whose brochure demonstrate exceptional craftsmanship and innovation are permitted to join the Ymir Conglomerate, ensuring the League's reputation for technological mastery remains intact. Though smaller than many other Leagues of Votann, the Ymir Conglomerate possesses the greatest concentration of advanced technology anywhere in the galactic core, and this equipment acts as a force multiplier whenever its kindreds go to war. The Urani Surta Regulates. Known throughout the Leagues of Votann as the URSR, this league and its kindreds have earned a reputation for survival against the odds. Courage and hardiness are the watchwords by which its kin live. The territories claimed by the URSR are heavy with potential threats. The awakened Necrons of the Samnok dynasty, the raiding fleets of the Orc privateer Bog the Freebooter King, and splinters of Tyranid high fleets continue to plague URSR holds. Other kindreds may have given ground in the face of such threats, yet the URSR steadfastly refuse to withdraw. The reason for this obstinance remains unclear. Kin rarely act thus without good cause, leading rival leagues to surmise that the URSR are protecting some site of significant worth, or are bound by a rashly sworn grudge against their encroaching foes that must be seen through to its conclusion. Dominating the core. Since the founding of the first holds, the bulk of kin territory has been located within the galactic core. Many of the galaxy's void-faring races avoid this region, which is known to be perilous in the extreme. Many are the tales of incautious explorers and colonists disappearing within its anomaly-ridden embrace. This general policy of avoidance by other species has shielded the Leagues of Votann from many of the galaxy's broader conflicts, yet the galactic core systems are far from devoid of foes. Orcs in particular thrive across its planets and have become hated enemies of the kin, to be purged wherever they are found. Necron tomb worlds, too, have been disturbed by kin miners and explorers. This has resulted in lengthy, and in some cases, ongoing conflicts with the awakened androids. Tendrils of the Tyranid high fleets reached up from beneath the galactic plane to probe the core. Isolated human colonies also exist at the edge of the core, though none have truly prospered, and few have ever posed a military threat to the Leagues of Votann. No other species possesses the formidable physiologies and specialized technologies of the kin, and thus Where rivals have failed to establish lasting domains within the core, they have prospered. The exceptionally hardy prospectors of the Chthonian mining guilds have braved the terrible danger of rendering down newborn stars, siphoning dark matter from the embrace of singularities and extracting gases from volatile nebulae. Kindred fleets pulled and sliced planets apart, deploying mobile refineries to process their harvested bounties. The first leagues were formed to aid in gathering and refining such resources. Huge merchant fleets crisscrossed the entirety of the galactic core, dispensing this material wealth to halls far and wide. The domains of the kin grew, and the Leagues of Votann rose to new heights of power. The origins of the kin. The Leagues of Votann are named in honor of Votan itself, an entity known as the primal ancestor, the Gilded One, or the Stone Mind. Some kin myths describe Votan as not one being but many, often represented in artwork as a group of gleaming golden figures or many graven stone faces. Other myths claim that Votan was responsible for forging crucibles and ushering the first of the kin out into the void. Some ascribe no divinity to Votan, but speak of it as the eldest and wisest of the mysterious first ancestors. The truth of the matter has long been lost to history, and whilst it may lie within the Votan cores, no Grimnir has thus phrased their questions to receive an answer. Pragmatic by nature, the kin give little weight to these myths, for they are too vague and symbolic to be treated as fact. However, this is of no concern to them, for whilst kin society is steeped in tradition and reverence for the ancestors, it is independent of faith. The kin do not fear the unexplained in the same manner as humans. They can accept reality as they find it and only dwell upon the ancient past if it becomes relevant to their present. The kin deem a few critical parts of their history indisputable. They refer to these as the first truths. These first truths state that their earliest ancestors departed the homeworld almost undoubtedly pre-imperial terror, millennia ago, aboard fleets of generation ships. They also note that the kin were a clone species from the beginning, that the Iron Kin have been with them since those earliest days, and that they set out as resource gatherers to prospect for, mine, and harvest the riches of the galactic void. The Votan. Within each kindred's fane stands their Votan core, also known as the Ancestor Cores. These machines are as crucial to the kin as gods are to many more spiritual species. Each kin would gladly sacrifice their lives to protect their hold's core. Within the Ancestor Cores, contained in self-organized data stacks and quantum info cores, resides the entirety of their species' accumulated knowledge. Weapons, blueprints, standard template construct schematics, philosophy, genealogical data, military tactics, survival techniques. All this lore and more is buried within the machine minds of the Votan. However, as the millennia have passed, accessing the accumulated knowledge of the Votan has become ever more complex. It seems probable that whoever created these devices had never intended for them to operate for as long as they have, nor perhaps were they equipped with the subroutines necessary to wrestle with intellectual or moral dilemmas. The sheer amount of data catalogued and filed by the kin has filled their mental storehouses to overflowing. The questions posed by extant Grimnir of the Votan now require them to adapt their processing methods through self-guided evolution and, at times, to request the gatherings of further information or mechanical augmentation from the kin. It is the desired fate of all kin to return to the Votan core upon death. Their bodies and minds are offered up to the Votan in the belief that their experience will enrich the machine minds of the cores and aid future generations. This results in a great deal of pressure on all kin to live up to the ideals of their ancestors by illuminating new corners of the galaxy, witnessing sights never seen before by any kin, and engaging in adventure and battle. This drive motivates the forming of prospects that journey beyond the core in search of material wealth and even see some kin serve as mercenaries on behalf of the galaxy's other species. The tradition of returning to their ancestors also provides the kindreds with the ultimate form of punishment. It is seen as a waste of resources to imprison those who commit crimes against their own. Instead, these unfortunates are sent into exile, their names told to the Votan, making the ancestors aware of their failures and forbidding the transgressor from joining any other kindred or league. They will die alone, far from home, denied the ability to return their accumulated experiences to the core, rendering the totality of their lived experience a complete waste. To the kin, there is no fate more terrible. Clone schemes. Kin myth blends into history around the same time the kin fleets plunged into the galactic core. At this time, the last references to the first ancestors can be found, and the first mention of the ancestor cores, known collectively as the Votan, was made. The first ancestors are associated with change, responsible for creating the stable clone schemes that even now run through the kin gene pool. This broad pool means that, while still a clone species, the kin are far from identical. The Votan are thought to have hardened the kin both physically and spiritually. Some accounts claim that this was done in response to a perceived threat, while others say it was undertaken in preparation for inhabiting the galactic core. Clone schemes grant the kin tougher and denser musculature, thicker bone structure, enhanced healing factors, and exceptional core strength. A more esoteric change was worked in their spirits. The souls of the kin shine far more dimly within the warp than those of humans. The kin do not fall victim to rampant psychic mutation, and only those who possess the appropriate psychoactive clone scheme can utilize so-called barrier tech to interact with the Empyrean. It is exceptionally rare, though not unheard of, for a kin to fall victim to the temptations of chaos. Beyond these most apparent benefits, there exist many more specialized clone schemes. Some impart improved reaction times, others enhance vision or provide resistance to extreme temperatures. Some even protect against cosmic radiation or the crushing force of gravity. The list of benefits the clone schemes offer is almost endless, and they have undoubtedly facilitated kin exploration and exploitation of the galactic core. The Hernkin. The furthest traveled of their species, the Hernkin function as scouts and prospectors, journeying beyond the core and into the wider galaxy. Bands of Hernkin leave their kindreds behind for decades, forging out into the galactic wilderness, alien empires and regions long declared forbidden. To others, they are the boldest of kin, for by journeying so far from their holds, these adventurers risk dying far beyond their kindred's borders and never returning to their ancestor cores. The Hernkin provide significant benefits to the Leagues of Votann, for they often first encounter and identify impending peril. Gathering orc hordes, the approach of vanguard tyrannies, and the presence of hidden webway routes. These threats and more have been unveiled by Hernkin pioneers and dealt with in typical kin efficiency. The Hernkin also identify and evaluate potential trading partners and locate valuable resources to be exploited. The Hernkin are considered invaluable to their leagues and well equipped to face the inherent dangers of their role. They possess the most advanced and robust scout ships in the kindred's arsenals, piloted by void masters of great skill and renown. A wide variety of armored gunships and rugged exploration vehicles allow the Hernkin to traverse even the most hostile alien environments. Their enviro-hardened void suits are supplemented by an impressive range of kin-portable and vehicle-mounted weapons, field generators, survival gear, and pan-spectral scanners capable of detecting the natural resources the kin so desire. Xonian mining guilds. While the Hernkin may locate fresh veins to be exploited, the Xonian mining guilds are tasked with harvesting them. With a reputation for fearlessness, the Chthonians will brave hazards and extremes of environment that even other kin would balk at. The kin of the Chthonians take great pride in contending with violent gravestorms, irradiated nebula, blazing volcanic planetoids, the event horizons of black holes, and other nightmarish and lethal environments. Natural occurring resources are not the only ones the Chthonians covet. The plasma power plants, promethium stockpiles, void-faring cargo ships, and fully functional industrial complexes of other species are viewed no differently than veins of precious ore waiting to be claimed. War is wasteful, so the Chthonian guilds usually attempt to acquire these riches through trade alone. If such measures fail, however, then violent acquisition is viewed by the Chthonian guilds as an obvious next step. After all, those who want something and fight the hardest for it deserve to possess it. Not all miners opt to join a Chthonian guild. Many unaffiliated mining stations and void harvesting rigs are scattered across League space. Chthonian accreditation, however, comes with great benefits. Most Chthonian guilds operate their own fleets of void ships, giving them an edge amidst fierce competition for the richest claims. They are also willing to finance their members' surgical augmentation to ensure future success. Whilst most kin miners possess clone skins that imbue them with dense bone structures, extreme tolerance to radiation, vacuum-hardened circulatory systems, and other enhancements, Chthonian guild members are known to submit to additional surgical procedures. These may include fitting reinforced skull plates, manipulatory and strength-enhancing bionics, artificial organs, and other equipment designed to aid them in their roles. Should their mining interests or League territories be threatened, the Chthonians will gladly fight alongside the Hearthkin, serving as sappers, combat engineers, or line-breaking infantry. Chthonian berserkers wielding concussion maws and plasma axes are particularly effective in melee combat, bludgeoning and blasting foes apart with brute force. The Brocir. The engineers and scientists of the kin, the Brocir operate the forges that exist within every kin's hold. They are some of the most skilled techno-artificers in the entire galaxy. They use the incredible bounties of the galactic core and the precious lore of the Votan to craft devices of supreme quality and durability. The technologies, ranging from standard clothing items to advanced vehicles and lethal weapons, forged by these master artisans, have contributed significantly to the survival of their species. They are often aided in their duties by cog units, robot assistants that perform assembly tasks under the guidance of their masters. The most skilled Brocir rise to the position of Forge Master, overseeing their kindred's forge and becoming prominent voices in the Hearthspake. At times of war, Brocir often go to war as part of the kin host, maintaining kin war engines and testing their newest and most lethal creations in battle. The kin host. The military forces of a given kindred are known collectively as its kin host. Mass soldiery, Einherjar elites, war engines, and artillery, combined with auxiliary forces drawn from non-military factions such as the Hernkin and Chthonians, to form a potent force capable of going toe-to-toe with most armies fielded by the galaxy's other species. Kin hosts are ordinarily formed around a solid infantry corps, the most numerous of which are the Hearthkin. These stoic and dependable warriors are technically citizen soldiers rather than full-time professionals. Most have trades or other roles that they focus on in times of peace. However, as members of the kin host, they undergo regular and rigorous training regimens to ensure their readiness for war. All kin take great pride in mastering any significant task, and these soldiers are no different. They are well disciplined and boast great martial prowess. Some Hearthkin bands even require prospective soldiers to undergo tests to demonstrate their endurance, marksmanship, aggression, tactical nous, and courage before being permitted to join their ranks. Those aspiring to serve in a kin host typically boast clone skins suited for such roles. They may, for example, be resilient, swift of thought and action, able to see in low-light conditions, or possess exceptional healing factors. In addition to these physical and mental abilities, a kin host soldiery are well equipped. The forges of the kindreds prioritize arming and training their soldiers, placing the importance of this task above all but the most essential hold maintenance tasks and void ship construction. Thus, The Hearth-Kin go to battle clad in hard and void armour and wielding an array of lethal weapons. Those kin who excel in the arena of war may be promoted to the rank of the Thane, which roughly translates into Low Gothic as Squad Leader. It is a great honour which Thanes strive to live up to. Those who truly excel in battle may be inducted into the Einhar ranks. These elite soldiers serve as bodyguards, specialist strike troops, boarding parties and the like. Their trademark equipment is their exo armour. These servo-assisted power armour suits can deflect even anti-tank fire, greatly enhancing the wearer's strength. They can also be fitted with a wide range of weapons that transform Einhar champions into living instruments of destruction. Kin hosts are led in battle by Carls, experienced war leaders whose grasp of military tactics have been proven in battles beyond compare. Carls are provided with the most potent weapons of all, and their armour is often adorned with the heraldry of Hold and League, shield generators and other esoteric technology designed to enhance their lethality and ensure their survival. Kin Military Doctrine values the lives of every soldier, regardless of rank or status. The intelligent use of lives and material is always prioritized, and rarely will a Carl waste either in the name of anger, vengeance, or even personal pride. The swearing of grudges. The kin rarely turn to warfare as a first recourse. However, there are those enemies whose actions test even the patience of the most reasoned of kin. Those who repeatedly shame and insult the kin, intrude upon and despoil their territories, or perpetrate great horrors against their people, may become the focus of a grudge. In such rare situations, the kin may appear to discard the perspectives that ordinarily guide their actions. When a grudge has been sworn, they will expend lives and material in shocking volume to ensure their designated foe's destruction. Kin sometimes form into grudge bands, coming together to swear binding oaths to quest and fight until the grudge is settled, or everyone who swore the oath has been slain. To those who have had limited contact with the kin, such behaviour may seem anachronistic in the extreme. To the kin, however, the swearing of grudges is deeply rooted within their culture. Their ancestors are believed to judge those who allow such nemesis to endure harshly. Active war zones. The kin possess territories throughout the core and beyond, many of which have faced repeated attacks from various foes. The opening of the Great Rift has exposed more holds to danger. Many species with whom the kin coexisted within the core have been ejected from their territories by the devastation and now vie with the Leagues of Votann for habitable worlds. Meanwhile, humans, Eldari, and other potential foes have been swept into the core on the shifting tides of the Empyrean, igniting further conflict. In response, some leagues have, for the first time in many millennia, began to look beyond the core for new planets to settle. Orgavir. The largest of the warp storms to have infringed upon the galactic core, Orgavir's pall has fallen over those worlds at the northeastern edge of the Great Thurian League. From its depths have poured the forces of chaos, including bloodthirsty demons of Khorne, world-eater warbands, and many more monstrous foes. Under the peerless command of Khal Uthar, the Destined, Greater Thurian forces have driven many of the foes back, yet, whilst Orgavir remains, the conflict drags on. The fighting has expanded beyond the core, with human worlds embroiled in the conflict. The Chalnath expanse, caught in the grip of multifaceted conflict involving orcs, Tau, Tyranids, and humans. The Leagues of Votann, most notably elements of the Trans-Hyperion Alliance and Kronos hegemony, seek to exploit the conflict to seize and secure bountiful worlds, salvage the wreckage of stricken void ships, and establish new holds. Warzone Bastior. Far beyond the worlds of kin territory, the Bastior subsector finds itself in the grip of a full-scale Tyranid invasion. As the Imperium struggles to hold back the Xenos swarms, kin mercenaries and pioneers flood into these overrun areas, offering their services to desperate human defenders and prospecting for new claims. League hunter guilds have also journeyed to the Bastur subsector to track and harvest the Tyranids, known to the kin as the Bane, and render them down to their constituent minerals.